Thank you for attending our breakout on how to accelerate digital transformation on Content Suite and Extended ECM. I'm Paulo, Sales and Partnership Manager here at Answer Modules. Now, before we go any further, let me just introduce who we are. We are a technology company focused on providing products specifically for the OpenText Content Suite and Extended ECM platforms. Now, our products, they're utilized globally by more than 250,000 users in over 100 organizations across various different industries. And we've also built a worldwide network of trusted partners that can really provide services related to our products. Now, with OpenText, we enjoy an exceptional relationship, and we fall under the Solution Extension Program, or SOLEX for short. Now, our success has led us to become the only multi-platinum Solix partner. And other notable achievements include being the first Solix partner certified for the cloud, as well as being awarded multiple awards, including the 2020 Solix Partner of the Year, and fingers crossed for this year as well. So that's enough about us. Let's get really to the core of the session, and I'd like to start with a quick summary of what I'd like to discuss during this breakout. So first of all is why Content Suite and Extend ECM, or let's just say CSP for short, are really awesome platforms for any digital transformation initiative. Then I'd like to discuss how you can accelerate digital transformation on CSP. And lastly, what are really the key aspects for any successful digital process? So let's start with the why, with that first question. Why is CSP the right platform? We can really break this down into three main points. First, it's a platform utilized throughout your organization. So it has extensive reach in terms of departments, users, etc. So it really reaches out on an enterprise level. Second, it's really the repository for your digital content, as well as it's really primed to house your non-digital content that you may currently have as well. And last but not least, it really has a ton of capabilities and features that can be the foundation for any digital process. So here, I'm talking about forms, permissions, metadata, workflows, etc. All these fundamental capabilities that are really a backbone for a digital process. So to sum up why CSP is the right platform, it has your users, it has your content, and it has the features and capabilities. So really, what comes next? Or what comes next? How can you best leverage these elements within your digital transformation on CSP? Well, that really comes down to the module suite. So module suite is our flagship product and is really the premier digital transformation enabler and accelerator dedicated to CSP. Now, module suite is extensively validated by the market. Like I mentioned earlier, it is utilized globally across different industries, across different organizations in terms of size, including Fortune 500 and Global 500 companies as well. So, why should you consider module suite as well within your digital transformation, or also what the module suite is capable of, what it's all about? I think the best way to really answer both of those questions is to explain what current customers have adopted it for. And I'd like to start from a strategic perspective. So from that strategic perspective, module suite is being utilized to create customer-specific business solutions on top of the CSP platform. Obviously, this opens up a whole host of new use cases for CSP as well. And in turn, it also renders CSP a hub really for content-centric processes, applications, solutions, etc. So really extending the reach of what can be done with CSP. And also, since the module suite is certified for the cloud, customers, they are viewing it as a way to implement cloud-friendly solutions. And obviously, this paves the way forward when they decide to move to the cloud as well. They can just bring whatever they built along the way as well. Now, from the business perspective, by business I mean the line of business and users, etc. The module suite's strong point is really its ability to satisfy a whole host of different needs and wants that are coming from the business. So these are usually related to the requirements or needs around forms, around automations, around the overall user interface, overall user experience, etc. So a whole host of different aspects that the module suite can satisfy from the line of business. And also, one of the major benefits of the module suite is that it's really utilized to provide a business-centric overall user experience. So, in other words, providing really intuitive and highly productive ways that the users interact with the system, obviously for the benefit of end user productivity. And this naturally leads to happier users and thus increased end user adoption at the end of the day as well. And last but not least, the module suite is being utilized by customers also to satisfy more technical needs. And first and foremost is really the reduction of development efforts on the CSP platform. And the reduction in efforts really lets customers deliver projects and overall change requests in a much faster and much more simpler way. And in turn, this also simplifies system upgrades as well. Now, on the technical aspects, we'll go in a little bit more into detail later on towards the end of the discussion. So I mentioned that one of the reasons, and probably the main reason customers are using Module Suite is for the creation of their business processes or applications, or let's say business solutions in general, on top of the CSP platform. Now, to give you a better idea of what this really means, I'd like to provide very quick examples of what customers have already created and also obviously deployed. And I warn you, this slide is going to get visually busy, let's say. And again, these are just some examples of what customers have implemented. So we've seen customers implement case management solutions on CSP utilizing the module suite, contract management solutions, invoice management solutions, or also more form-based related processes related to maintenance inspections or procedure checklists, etc. So again, a whole host of different use cases built on top of CSP, thanks to the module suite. Now, again, these are just some examples, kind of the tip of the iceberg, because really there is an endless amount of solutions that can be implemented with the module suite. And we can really sum it up as whatever the requirement may be, or whatever business solution users have in mind, the module suite can be utilized to implement it on top of CSP. Again, these are just some examples of the business solutions that have been implemented with module suite. Now, even though each of those business solution is definitely unique, there are three recurring elements to the most successful ones. And this all really starts from the fact that they are highly automated. And the reason that they're highly automated is really to reduce the end user's interaction with the system, and therefore also reduce any human error for the benefit of data accuracy and overall efficiency. Another aspect of successful digital processes is that they normally integrate with other systems or platforms. And the reason for this is that users can seamlessly consult or utilize information from other systems, so that they have a seamless decision-making process. And last but not least, a successful digital process is really designed with end user in mind. So that concept of having a business-focused overall user experience that really drives and supports end users' productivity. Naturally, module suites satisfy all three of these elements. And in the next slides, I'd just like to I'd like to explain a little bit in more detail each of these elements. So let's start from the smart automation capabilities. Again, one of the core capabilities of Module Suite is really to introduce smart automation to anything and everywhere within CSP. So a common scenario is really to automate a chain of actions or chain of events, regardless of how complex they may be. And the important thing to note is that this chain of actions really needs to happen in the background. So it does not need to, let's say, interrupt the end user's productivity. And what I have on the screen might seem like a pretty complex chain of actions. So we're creating connected workspace. We're creating the business relationships. We're adding team members to that connected workspace. Then we're creating some elements, emails, and some Word documents. We're converting them to PDF, and then we're sending them out or sharing them through other systems such as Core Share, email, etc. And this might seem like a fairly complex chain of events, but to the end user, it's actually just a matter of one click. So they might be clicking, I don't know, maybe this is all kicked off with a personalized menu item in a certain UI, whatever that may be. All this chain event is just happening in the background to the user, and it's all getting started with one click. So again, regardless of how complex an automation might seem, the module suite can definitely automate that task or process as well. Now, that second element that I mentioned is the ability to really integrate any sort of external system, platform, data source within the business solution. And this is definitely one of the module suite strong points. It really makes it incredibly easy, incredibly fast to integrate CSP with other platforms. And in fact, one of the most recent use cases for the module suite is the creation of new extended ECM connectors. So what we've seen, both from customers and our firsthand experience, is that with the module suite, a new extended ECM connector can be created in literally a matter of hours. So this obviously greatly extends the capabilities of the extended ECM platform, but in general also extends your overall ecosystem as well. And generally speaking, anytime an integration is made, it is obviously to improve the flow of information, to reduce redundant data, and again, to provide a seamless user experience between applications. So we're not integrating systems just for the sake of integration. We're integrating them because the information that those other systems might have, they are fundamental to consult or to utilize as part of a business solution that's been created on CSP. And last but not least, that third element of the business-focused UX. So this is really creating a user experience that is both business-driven and business-focused as well. So what this really means is that the ways end users interact with the system, it needs to facilitate their activity. So for example, we need to be able to create user interfaces that are both intuitive for the end user, so without any need for any training on how to use them, and clear of any clutter. So presenting only relevant information for that specific user group, or for that specific job at hand. And then in terms of forms, obviously another very important element when we're talking about end users interacting with the system and overall productivity, forms, they need to be intelligent enough in order to guide the user on what to do with that form, but they also need to be dynamic. So usually when we talk about dynamic, we're talking about, say, dynamic form fields. That's the most common use cases. And the forms need to be dynamic so that they evolve or change based on the user's inputs. And this also leads to forms, becoming a much more productive tool. They're not a way of just gathering information, but they're also a way of working with the system and working with information that's actually being gathered. And for this reason, another example of a business-focused overall user experience is to provide, intelligent, easy-to-use forms with which users can interact with workflows or in processes in general. So it really becomes a front-end tool for them. And now, Another fundamental aspect of a business-focused user experience is that you need to inject business logic. So again, this really is also tied to the concept of automation. But the idea of business logic is to present to the end users only the relevant information or objects or whatever for the activity that they have on hand, for the task that they need to do in that moment. So really contextualize what they are seeing and what they're doing with the system, again, at all with the objective of improving productivity. And last but not least, another aspect of business-focused user experience, and another aspect with which the module suite really excels, is that whatever you're building, so an application, a process, whatever, these need to be designed so that they are a one-stop shop. So users should not need to switch between systems or applications or UIs, etc. Everything needs to be contained in one place. So that concept of having an application sandbox. Now, the business-focused UX, the integrations, the automations, again, these are the three elements of a successful digital process and digital solution. There's actually a fourth one, but this is more technical related. Like I mentioned at the beginning, the technical aspects I want to leave a little bit towards the end. And that fourth pillar of a successful digital process is really speed and flexibility of how you can deliver them and how fast you can deliver them. And again, this is another area where the module suite excels. And in this case, it excels in the role of accelerator. So like I mentioned at the very beginning, we define, and customers define as well, the module suite as a digital transformation enabler, as well as an accelerator. So let's see, why it can also be defined as an accelerator. So module suite, it really provides the right tools to deliver business solutions really in a fraction of the time it would normally take. And according to our customer feedback and customer surveys, we're really looking at up to 80% less time and effort compared to, let's say, traditional ways of developing business solutions on CSP. And this is really because Module Suite employs a low-code approach and does not utilize any proprietary languages. So this approach really lets technical resources become productive in a matter of days, and we're looking at 5 days in general. And more importantly, it lets customers adopt an agile methodology for their projects. So it really allows the technical side to literally sit next to the line of business, gather the requirement, implement it, and also validate it in real time with the line of business. Obviously, this greatly speeds up the overall development time and effort for any sort of project or solution that you may have on hand. Now, another important aspect to keep in mind about the module suite is that whatever business solutions are built with it, they are future-proof. And what I mean by this is that they don't need to be re-engineered each time there is a system upgrade. So I always like to point out one of our first customers. They actually started utilizing the module suite when they were on version 10. They moved to 10.5, 16.2, 20 something, escapes my mind at the moment. But each time they went through those upgrades, they did not need to go back and re-engineer whatever they have built. And another aspect of considering module suite for future-proofing business solutions is the fact that whatever you are building with module suite can be moved to the cloud because module suite is a cloud certified solution. Now that aspect of future-proofing and not needing to re-engineer solutions for upgrades, this leads to another very common use case for the module suite, and that is to retire previous custom developments, usually done with OScript or web reports, and replace them with something that is much more manageable and much more maintainable in the long term as well. So this is, let's say, the essence of module suite from the accelerator perspective, from more of a technical perspective. But just to let's say bring some evidence to this overall discussion on the accelerator part, I'd like to show, or not show, but briefly discuss uh, a quick example. It's a pretty common example of utilizing the module suite, and that is creating custom menu items in the Smart UI. So to create a custom menu item in the Smart UI using the custom development the traditional way, you need to learn the SDK. You have the development efforts. You need to do test and dev, prod, prep, prod, etc. And you also need to coordinate with the system admins to actually deploy it once it's ready. With the module suite, the only skill that's needed is, well, the module suite. And as I mentioned, that's literally just a matter of days to ramp up. The development effort greatly reduced. Here we're talking about just configuring. In this case, we're really configuring a prepackaged snippet of code. And the central team is, well, the technical side, but more importantly, the line of business. Because in this case, with the module suite, the technical side can sit down with the line of business, understand the requirement, implement it, show it, and get feedback right away. So how does this actually translate into the actual effort? With custom development, we're looking at 1 to 5 days to create a custom menu item in the Smart UI. With the module suite, it is literally a matter of minutes. So we time this, it's a matter of 5 minutes. So again, greatly, greatly reduced time and effort. So to wrap things up, so in conclusion, really, how can we sum up the UVP of module suite? I think it really boils down to two elements. First of all, it reduces the total cost of ownership of your CSP platform. And it's because it reduces implementation efforts. It lets you replace cumbersome custom developments, streamline systems, upgrades, etc. But it also increases the return on investment that you've made on CSP. And this is because you can utilize CSP for a lot more because you're able to build your business specific solutions on top of it, extends what you can do with CSP, and also increases the end user adoption and end user productivity. So the UVP of the module suite really comes down to reducing TCO and increasing ROI. Or in other words, or in the wise words of one of our customers, they summed it up fairly well, in my opinion. They summed it up as do more with less effort and deliver awesome results at the end of the day. So with that, thank you for your time. I hope this breakout session was of your interest. Obviously, if you have any questions or you'd like a live demo or just a one-to-one conversation, please don't hesitate to reach out to me directly and we'll be happy to connect. Thank you and enjoy the rest of the event.